Welcome back. Last time we left Jebediah stranded on the moon, and so we're going to build a spaceship and go and rescue him. Now, since I don't have a multi-person capsule, I'm just going to be stacking two on top of each other, like you see here, and making sure that the second command pod's empty and Valentina's in the first one there. And enough parachutes to support all these guys, and can't forget a heat shield, because I'm going to be coming back fast from the moon. And we have our first stage, rather our final rocket there for in the vacuum, the one that's going to be landing us on the moon. And now we have the advent of landing legs so that we can actually not tip over and blow up our rocket when trying to lift off. Alright, so just building our basic rocket, probably overkill because I have no idea optimal launch trajectory, so that's all I built. Now I try here with just two boosters and it's not enough thrust. So we have to start again. And we throw just one more on there and then we are good to go. So here we go for launch. And there we go, liftoff this time. We're not stuck to the pad, finally. Valentina seems quite happy to finally be going into space, since Jebediah has been hogging all the glory to this point. But look at how he ended up stuck on the moon, with her having to rescue him now. So up and away. And this time I'm doing a lot more editing because I realized how much dead time there was. So here we're just boosting into the moon, lunar insertion right here. We're trying to get our encounter, rather. Just 200 more meters per second, and we should be just about there. There we go. Now, time accelerate it. I even have 4 times time accelerate in post here, just to make it go a little bit faster. And doing another maneuver to bring us around the moon. And here we go. Just a small burn, maybe 100 meters per second, 120 or something like that. And then we're going to be in orbit, but then I decide, well, we can just keep going and boost straight into the crater there. Rather lower our orbital trajectory so we fall right into the crater that Jebediah is stranded in. And there we go. Well, actually we're pointed a little bit below it, so I'm going to do a little correction here and move it up and towards the capsule's landing area there. Almost. What am I doing? Good job, old me. Fixed it. Alright, and here we are coming in for a nice landing with actual landing legs so that we won't fall over. Although we'll see how that works out later. Nice. For someone who hasn't even flown into space yet, Valentina's doing quite an excellent job of landing here. Per second. Just trying to keep it steady at that low speed since we're getting very close to the surface now. I don't want to throttle too much and just boost this back up, so I'm just being gentle with the throttle. And then there's my shadow, which means I'm really close, and 4 meters per second, a little fast, a little bumpy, but we made it down. So let's go ahead and switch to Jeb and get our science. And then begin our several kilometer trek, because I didn't land very close, actually, all things considered. Fortunately, we do have a few things to help us along here. We have, well, first we have to put up a flag, since we forgot to, do it. Oh, I had planted a flag with Valentina first that I forgot to edit out. That's why that message text is there. So now we're using our RCS pack to get over there as quickly as possible. Just again, I'm accelerating all this. You can hear in the music. This is at 4 times, I think. And unfortunately, I completely overshoot. I didn't slow down early enough, forgetting, objects in motions. They just tend to keep going unless they're given an opposite force. And unfortunately, I don't want that to be the surface of the moon, because that would kill Jeb, so I had to use RCS to slow him down. And unfortunately, I ran out. So then, I had to walk at 1.5 meters per second all the way back to the capsule. I did move it over slightly in a little cut here. I didn't show it because I failed so miserably at it I was embarrassed to put it in. But so I still had to walk quite a ways. And so I'm accelerating this at 1,000 times time acceleration. And as soon as physics kicks in on the rocket over there, when I get close enough, it falls over. So those landing legs were all for naught. But eventually I make it back here, and I have quite a bit of trouble getting in, bouncing around here, and I have no RCS to help me up. Monopropellant left, so I can't use my jetpack, but finally, eventually, I get in. Alright, and it makes me dump 2 of my experiments, but that's okay. I was just so fed up trying to get him into the capsule that I'm like, we'll come back and get more science later. So, here we go. And I crashed several times trying to take off since I fell over, and so I edited those out, and here's the one where I actually get away. And there we go. I go ahead and look at the map for no reason. I know I just have to point at the 90-degree mark and just go in that direction, but I look at the map for no reason. I'm out of electric charge on the capsule, so I have to have the engine throttled up for the gimbal to be able to steer at all. I can't pre-position for burns. But there we go. Of course, we point at the 90-degree because that way, coming around the moon counterclockwise, which means that we can thrust in a direction opposite our orbiter on Kerbal, but still increasing our velocity with relative to the moon so that we can escape and combine the force. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. So basically, you're slowing down relative to Kerbal, but speeding up relative to the moon, right here in the same burn. So it's the ideal direction to take off from the moon, is at 90 degrees, going counterclockwise around the moon. Alright, and so now we've ditched that, and unfortunately I can't position the capsules in the correct direction, and I was very worried they'd burn up before the heat shield was pointed in the right direction. But they are aerodynamically stable, so they will fall in the right direction once there's enough wind. It's just, I was worried I wouldn't get into that correct position in time. And there we go. And we fortunately do not blow up. And here we are burning off most of the velocity at this point. It was pretty close there. Alright, and we're slowed down. And so we'll just cut to the end here where both Jeb and Valentina are now coming down to the surface. Very slowly. But I have time warp in game, so it's not that bad. And there we go. Recover vessel. And they're both home safely.